They call it the friendly net. Also, around 3958, the main potato net is a pretty friendly group. 3958. I forget when they start up. I don't know if I want 6 o'clock or something. Main potato net. The Roosters is a good one too. 3990. 3.990. Roosters up that way. In there, they're on the same time, I think, roughly as the graveyard in there. I usually stick with the graveyard though, but the Roosters is a pretty good bunch in there. But yeah, you should check into some of those nets there, Rich. If you can't afford a big tuner, of course there's like Palstar net. I mean, I used to have a 10 Tech 229 antenna tuner with an L network roller inductor. You can find those at a reasonable price on eBay. Those are a good tuner. Legal limit.
K82HAP 73.
73s to you, sir. Enjoy.
Yeah, nice meeting you there, Charlie. Come on back in there. I usually don't get a chance to talk on a Greylock repeater too much there, but yeah, it's a rarity to find just kind of people using it anymore. I remember it used to be going on 24/7 in there, but yeah, pretty good trip. Some white noise on your signal. You're probably about I'd say about 80% in the machine, about 20% white noise. I mean, you're fully understandable and copyable, but yeah, you're a ways down there, and I guess you're doing okay. But yep, pop back in and maybe we'll chat again. Thanks for stopping by, KA1K Double T.
I have been on the main potato net, and I don't know if I remember 3990. I might have been up there. There was some maritime net somewhere. Then there's your graveyard. I have that one bookmarked, and there's also quite a few other ones that I had jotted down. Obi shot them over to me one day, and that Good Old Boys Net was one of them. I think that's down in Virginia or somewhere, South Carolina.
Last time I heard that was with Dukes of Hazzard. The Good Old Boys. That was way back in the 70s. There with Bo and Luke Duke, and then there was Daisy Duke, and then the grandfather and stuff in there, and then Roscoe P. Coltrane and that. You remember that show?
Yes, sir, I do. It was now, of course, banned, with society the way it is.
Yeah, K1KTT, and also I was going to say is, yeah, those are the days back, I guess, in the 70s and stuff in there. We're all getting old, a little older, but anyways, yeah, you said about, I keyed on you there, I just doubled a couple of seconds. I just said, just popping in some of those nets, but do you work much 40 meters? That's a band that's a little tricky on this antenna. Is 40 meters. I can get it to work on there, but it's not. It's a little tricky. It's kind of picky, I guess you'd say, on that band. But you go in that much. I mean, you got E cars 255, mid cars 258, south cars 251, rotten apples 7.238. RV service net is down that way. I think it's around 191, something like that. There's a couple of good nets on 40.
I think it was, I remember E-Cars was one of them, not the rest of them, but I do remember that first one.
Yeah, E-Cars here. I listened to that way back. My first antenna was a 67-foot piece of random wire kind of over the top of the house, and like I said, for 40 meters it was okay because it's actually a halfway for 40 meters, but yeah, the upper bands it was lousy. And that's why I said when I went to a 3-band vertical, Oh, it was like night and day. With the vertical was only up about 15 feet off the ground, and had some makeshift radios and stuff, and it was a whole lot better in there with that than that random wire was in there. That's why I think the wire is okay for the low bands, the lower frequencies. Say you might be okay for maybe 20 meters to down to 80 meters. But I think on the upper bands, let's say above that, I think you're better off with an indoor dipole in the attic. I think it'd work a whole lot better. If you can get it outside, even better. You can follow like an eave of a house out that way. There's like you can put some standoff insulators, put some insulated wire. I mean, you can kind of hide it. There's little tricks.
Hopefully, when I get more involved in getting to do this a little bit more, get to have more playtime, I'll be able to figure out some more things. I don't care about it being, stuck to the eave of the house. It's not an issue to me. I wouldn't care if I had a 100-footer sticking straight in the air either. So that doesn't bother me. It bothers the wife, but not me.
Yeah, right. Tell her not to look at it then. But so that takes care of that. Just tell her to put the blinders on in there. Tell her you'd rather have in the shack, your own shack, than at the bars. Oh, whoops.
And slowly plugging away that third floor attic that has nothing going on up there. That's going to be, I think, the ham shack. It's got great access for running the coax in, and it's a shorter run and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to kind of run it down the side of the house or anything. So that's my goal. I'm getting it insulated now and plugging away at it.
Oh, I guess that's the way to do it. See, when you get up to the third floor, then you start dealing with ground issues and stuff. That's why I told you that artificial ground. I know that works because I helped somebody out way back. Sometimes I'm like an elephant. I don't forget. It was way back. He was down there in Stockbridge area. He had a problem with. He said he was running a dipole antenna, right? Well, it's just barely up on his roof. He's running a little. You remember the HTX 100, a little Radio Shack rig with 25 watts. I had a 2 element Delta loop up here. I was working on railway down here to Stockbridge from North Adams. I thought that was a pretty good haul. And anyways, come to find out, yeah, he just up on the roof a little bit. And he had one kind of just about 8 feet off the ground. I thought I was doing real good from up here in North Adams, working them on ground wave at 10 meters there, which it was. But we built them an 80-meter dipole down there on a 14-gauge strand of wire. I used the high gain center insulator, and then we had twin lead in there, and I soldered it to it. I kind of carefully measured it out with the twin lead. Let me let it drop. And my hand's getting sore holding the HT up here. I got to use the other one for a cradle, but ran it back to he had a little MFJ antenna tuner, and he said, well, it handles power. I said, maybe the power, it's under ideal conditions. Under a 1-to-1 SWR, you deal with mixed impedances, capacitive and inductive on there, and you need a wide range tuner if you're going to use that antenna for all the different bands. And I told him, I said, the good one to get would be the 10-Tech. It was a 229. They make a 238 or something, but at the time it was a 229. For a couple $100. That was well worth the money for that tuner. And then we got some insulated wire and made quarter wave radials like on the back of the tuner on the ground, lug nut on there. Oh, that eliminated a lot of his problems. He had the Yaesu 101 double E. I think it runs around 180 watts or something like that. That tuner handled the power easy. Whole lot better without the RF issues. He eliminated a lot of them when I made the antenna, and he got the real tuner and then the artificial ground.
Great. I'm not into losing equipment or anything like that, and trying to take care of it and such. temporarily until I get upstairs, or what, you know?
Well, if you're trying to ground equipment, braid is always the best thing to do because it acts as multiple wavelengths. If you use like a solid gauge wire, chances are sometimes it might be like a resonant antenna, and then it won't act like a ground at all. And then you start with that end-fed wire. See, it's not a balanced antenna. Just think of an input and an output. You got something going out, and then the input, the receive would be down through your coax and into your equipment. And so you need to get a ground on that so it finds a different path on that. And all I can think of is the artificial ground. You could actually make in the back of the tuner, just like I said, with small wire. That'll help, and also do that for your radio in there. I mean, because if you run a long wire down to the ground, it might act like not connected at all, depending on the length. Braid of RG213 cable is always good. It's small, and then you go down through. I let it drop. See me, my ground is right. I've got it like 4 feet below the floor. So I run RG213 right down on an 8-foot ground rod. I used to have a couple of radios actually on the ground rod in there at one time. I think I hit them with a lawnmower or something like that. They're maybe there, but they're not connected out there. But inside the shack, I use 1-inch braid. I solder it on the end. I got a 240-watt Weller trigger gun. I put solder on the end, and then you drill it out. And then so it goes over that little bolt in the back where the wing nut is on your equipment. You run it down to a center point. You get yourself a bolt and a wing nut, and a washer and that. And that's the tie point right there for your different pieces of equipment. You don't want to go from equipment to equipment. You go right down to that one grounding point, and that point, at the bottom of that bolt, then you run it out to your ground rod or your main ground right or at that particular point. But you're better off to use braid.
Yeah, the antenna itself on the balun, there's a ground, but the instruction said, you can run a piece of wire out and, do this, do that, the other thing, but no ground was needed for it, so I never put one up. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I know a few guys that were using them. It's QSO King on eBay. That's what it is, made by a ham.
No, I can't answer that question. I'm not sure. But I suppose if you were outside and had that up on a tree or something there, I don't know if you run a wire down. Then, of course, on the structure, like if you had it up towards like a tower, you could actually probably run a little piece of braid from that balun, the ground point, out to the tower, and the tower could be grounded. I suppose that might, make some sense. But basically, I don't think I really see a need to run on the ground on a balun myself. A tuner, yes, inside the shack, and equipment, I say yes on that, but on a balun, I'd probably say no.
K1FFK.
I've seen in the different catalogs and such the copper bar that you take the silver braided stuff and you attach it to that bar and then you run that bar down to your ground or your. Unfortunately, I don't have a house with baseboard heat. It's like 200 years old. I got steam radiators, if that counts as a ground. But I was going to run it out the window and down to the ground off of that copper bar.
K1KTT, been there, done that. We had an apartment with steam radiators and an old, I think it was a coal converted oil furnace. Well, it was oil, but I think it used to be a coal furnace. I mean, this thing was inefficient to say the least. You had to turn the heat way up to get some hot water and the heat too. So, well, we got out of that apartment not too long. I think we were here about a year, and that was about all we could take down there. that was it. But anyways, what was I going to mention there? So I gave you some ideas there. That sounds like a good plan, though. If you get up on the up towards the to that upper room, you got access to the attic. You could make up some dipoles, like I said, with the cheap way is the SO239 connector, but and then some just get a spool of wire. It's when you're working indoors, you don't have to waterproof it and all that, so it's easy in there. But sounds like a plan. You could actually make one up, Layla Drop. You could make them up so they're with one feed line. You could do that. So save on the coax cable. You could make, if you got the room, have a center point and then have your dipoles, kind of the wires on the one center point, because it'll find the correct antenna on there. There's kind of ways of doing that for the coaxial run. Depending on the length of it, you could get it probably away with even a 58U, or the new one now is the RG8XM, something like that. I don't think you need a heavy-duty cable. I don't know if I would want to run an amplifier in an attic in there neither, so I'd probably say no and get just a stock rig with the smaller cable in there. 58U with the braid is easy to solder.
And my first step after the installation would be I got to get the guy over here and get him wiring something for me. I only have one outlet upstairs, so I gotta have a few more,
Yeah, I hear you on that. I actually I had a couple little amplifiers here. I had an outlet made in there for 250 volts, and here I haven't got one right now. I actually had a power supply that run on 250 volts because it's its own thing on its own circuit. It goes right back to the breaker box in there. Well, I did something silly like I guess any other ham does. I had a piece of wire fall down there. Shorted right across both terminals. Lucky I didn't grab a hold of it. I wouldn't be here right now. And I would become the ground on that. Oh, it blew all kinds of things in that power supply. And there was an Astron 250 volt one. I think it was 35 amps continuous in there. That was the end of that. So I had it on that, and I had a couple of small amplifiers and stuff in there that I had at one time. I don't use that outlet right now. The good thing what I did is I actually made the outlet different plug than the normal one, so I would know which one it was.
And that's one thing I don't get along with. Electric and I never got along. Not when I'm sheetrocking, nothing. I always seem to hit both contacts at the same time with the knife or whatever, I just don't like it.
Yeah, KA1 KTT. It's funny you should say that, Rich. I got to hook up the programmable thermostat. It's only 2 wires in there, but yeah, I just don't like full on wood wires. I hear what you're saying. I got central air conditioning too, and well, it's only a foot, a little over a foot away from the other one, but you can't get the wires over there because there's a stud in the way. But I don't want to rip the paneling off the wall, so I got to see about coming up through the floor over there. I only got to move it over like 20 inches, so there's enough cord. I just got to see about getting the hole and then threading it up through the panel. And I don't know if I want to be brave enough to tackle that now. In there, but the new thermostats, there's a $25 rebate for the regulars. Some of the other ones are like a $100 rebate. So a good time to upgrade your thermostat if you think about it.
Yeah, I did that up on Pontusic. I actually, the wires are small, it doesn't carry much juice, so a little bit of zing is okay, but it's not the good one coming right off of a circuit breaker, And it went okay. I mean, it took me a while, and being a touch colorblind, these old houses, the black wire with gray strip and the gray wire with a black stripe. Well, guess what? It's hit and miss, literally. Zap, there goes the lights. Well, that's the wrong one.
I know, that scares me. And you start dealing with electricity like that. And there, we remember when we first moved up in here, we asked this guy, you know how to wire up a dryer cord? He says, yeah. He says, I'll give it a whirl. He starts attaching wires to it. Well, that's not the right one. We're looking at him like this, and it's a miracle he didn't get electrocuted.
KC1BYD. Yeah, I don't know how these guys do it. I've seen them come on the job site, and they don't bother shutting the main off or nothing like that. They'll just go in there and start wiring stuff. I'm like, boy, man, I don't know if I should have, EMS dialed up and ready to go or what.
K1KTT, I hear you. Electricity doesn't get along with me neither. I got zapped here once. It was just 120 volts here. That was enough to put a shocker into me. You get hit with 4-phase and all this other stuff up there, and yeah, you're done. End of story. Out that way, but hats off to these electric company guys here. I mean, they must have seen a lot of stuff. Down at work down there, we had a squirrel's nest in there to shorter the things out down that way. Out there, one time you got all these machine shop. They run multiple phase on there. And all of a sudden, boom! When it goes out, it sounds like a bomb or I shouldn't say that. No, I'll just say a shotgun going off in there, a big gun or something going off in there. Squirrel's nest in there. We all. Okay, is there somebody trying to get in there? No, I guess not. They just wanted to see if they could get into the repeater or within range in case I need it. But anyways, I got to get going here, Rich, and tackle a couple of projects there. But you get a chance here. Check into those nets. I'm usually in there between 6 and 8 in the morning in the graveyard. And AA2XK, Rich would like to hear from you. He's always looking for check-ins in there. So give it a whirl if you can get in there. I mean, just for it's tough to get a quarter wavelength for 80 meters. You're talking, in a house at 60-something feet. Let's see, half 135. I don't know. Whoops, my hand's getting tired. It slipped off the trigger here. Yeah, 67 feet or something like that. But do the best that you can there. There's always that cold water pipe, I suppose. You get a clamp and just clamp a piece of braid on it. At least it's something in there if you're not too far from that. But try to check in there if you can in the dipole. I would pick one for 17 meters. But if you need a helping hand there, Rich, let me know. Not too far away, local. Good soldering iron, 240 volt Weller. That's what I would recommend. Your best friend the ham had here for a while. Take care, okay? Let's see if I can remember to call it. Is it KB1BYD? KA1KTT?
K1FFK.
Hey, it was nice talking to you. It's KC1BYD, KA1TTT. And we'll chat with you again. Thank you very much. And I will try to check in at 6 a.m., right?
Between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. KC1BYD, KA1KTT, Kentucky, Texas there in the end. Triple T would be the Dave up in Robinson up there. There's a station, but that's not me. Kentucky, Texas there, Rich. I check my email from time to time. I got a picture under my antenna. If I want to take a look at it, it's interesting in there. But you need a hand. Hey, that's what we're all about here. Trying to help each other. I remember when I first started here, I couldn't get anybody to help me, so I don't want that to happen to somebody else.
Hope to catch you out here. And aren't you the one that Obi says never gets out and chats much? So maybe you can let Obi know that you were out here and you burned up the airways a little bit this morning. KC1BYD. I'll be 7-3 on your final.
Yeah, he's just kidding when he says that. I got the Rank Chores Award here, too. Multiple times. He's just kidding when he says that in there. I I don't get a chance to use Greylock too much because I'm on the road. I don't have an HT or a mobile or nothing with me. But anyways, we got was it W1AES I think in there. I'm getting a little hoarse there too, and I got a fold of towels. The dryer stopped, and I got to get going. So I'll be listening. Nice challenge here, Rich. Need a hand here? Let me know. K81KTT. AES, morning. Pick it up.
Good morning, Dave. Morning, Rich. WA1AES Mobile. Bright, sunny morning out here. And yeah, don't let the dryer stuff sit too long. It'll get all wrinkled up, and you'll have to do it again there, Dave. Rich, how you doing on this beautiful morning?
I'm not doing too shabby. Argued with Microsoft all day yesterday, literally all day yesterday. They had control of my computer and they can't figure out what's going on, so I'm dusting off an old XP and see if she's going to work a little bit better for me. When in doubt, go to something that works, right?
Yeah, I'm still running XP on an old tower at home, and it works just great. All this new stuff. Now they want to try to sell you Windows 10. I don't think so. But after a while, they stop supporting this stuff. That's the problem. So I hope you solved that problem. Going out for a little music this morning. Gonna meet a young lady and see what they want to do. They got some show that they do in March. Country and 50s and 60s music, about my era. WA1AES.
Yes, when music was actually music.
Yeah, I've been known to say that. Yeah, she said, well, we do 50s and 60s and country. I said, well, Neil Diamond, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn, I'm ready.
Little CCR there too, K1KTT.
Oh, yeah. Creedence Clearwater, Revival and Revisited. Yeah, we used to do that stuff. Went back into 50s and did some Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley. A lot of fun. For a guy like me that's not a good guitar player, all you needed was 4 chords and you could play that old rock stuff.
Did you say 4 chords or 4 chords?
CHORDS, not word. You know, they were pretty simple patterns. Let's see, the first 2 songs were The House of the Rising Sun and Gloria.
Now, Animals sings that. I actually got a CD in the Animals. I got the CD there of CCR and Gloria. This song sort of rings a bell. I forget who sings that.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It's been too many years. But, yep, the Animals. And then we rolled into Creedence and Neil Diamond, Little of the Righteous Brothers. We used to do weddings. So we also had to do Moon River, My Way, the Alley Cat back then, the Cha-Cha, some polkas. But, by the third set, after everybody had a few drinks and they had the first dance, you could sort of let loose and have some fun. WA1AES Mobile.
That's why I asked you. I said 4 chords or 4 chords. If I had 4 chords, I'd be on the floor.
Well, let's see. Wintertime, we did the blackberry brandy thing for 3 sets. Then went to coffee the 4th set. That got us home in 1 piece.
I'm not much of a drinker here. I have a couple of beers there. That's it. So I said 4 chords. I really don't drink hardly at all there. But I would after the drivers that I see out there all day.
Yeah, that'll do it to you. Driving the roads, getting married, having a wife and kids, all of the above. Yeah, we managed to get through the 10 years of the ban without any kind of real problems. One speeding ticket at 2 a.m., that wasn't too bad. WA18ES.
K1KTT. I'm folding the towels here too. It's still a little warm here too. I got them just in time.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, that's a good thing. Otherwise, they get all wrinkly and crappy. Especially if you're doing, what do you call them? Permanent press. Got to grab those at the right time. Boy, bright and sunny out here. Yesterday was sort of a dreary day. But we drove on up to Saratoga and saw the Tenors. Boy, those guys are great. They put on a benefit show, just about an hour, but all the money went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Quite a group. They were in between gigs. They were down in Long Island on Friday evening, heading up for a show in Vermont Saturday night, and they stopped there for a 2 to 3 gig. And boy, they were fantastic. And then we lost a few pennies, had the buffet, and came home. And sort of drizzled on us both ways. WA18ES.
Yeah, I don't know if Rich is going to pop back in there. But yeah, that driving, that drizzle and fog, that makes it rough on your eyes. You're driving. You probably heard me say before there. I know you gave I know the name, but I can't think of it. It's kind of a double negative there, but I won't guess. But anyways, I know you've been on the air dozens of times talking to Pete. I can't remember the name there. What's the name?
No problem, Rich. It's Ernie. And for some reason, you're calling your name stick. A lot of them I forget. But I looking at a list the other day. It's both sides of the sheet of paper, 2 columns. Had to be 150 calls and names between Connecticut and here. Good luck remembering all of them unless you talk to them every week. WA1AES Mobile.
Yeah, Roger there, Ernie. KA1 Kilowatt Tiger, Dave. And North End, I'm just on 500 milliwatts with an HT here looking at Greylock out here. But what was I going to mention? Yeah, that drizzle and fog there, especially Thursday and Friday there, that was tough driving. I had a headache. I had to go down almost to Bridgeport down there, 8 South, 100 miles there from south of Lee, and then I had to cross over to Connecticut to get over to 91, and we went up to 8 North to Route 6, cut across that way, backed in about 2 or 3 miles in traffic in Hartford, 91. I had a headache that day. I come home and I was done. I was almost sick. I almost didn't even want to eat, Ernie. How about that?
Now it's really affecting you if the appetite gets it. Now that's 91's a pain in the neck, 95. That was my commute for 3.5 years from Pittsfield here down Route 8 to Naugatuck, just south of the 84 junction. That's a good ride that far. But then if you get on 84 or go down into Bridgeport, forget it. And of course 95 down to Stamford's impossible. 91 is no bargain in New Haven or in Hartford either. Maybe hit the lotto. You won't have to do this anymore. You can play more radio. WA1AES.
If I won $200 million there, chances are they take it all out in taxes. Oh, if you left there with a handful, I don't play them anyways, the lottery and that. But what was I going to mention? Yeah, we don't know what we got. As far as like the traffic around here, this is nothing. I said, people don't realize, they think 10 cars over here is a catastrophe. I mean, like I said, it's nothing. You get out in these heavy traffic areas, and I mean, there's always something worse. They say LA traffic is the worst and this and that. And I don't even want to see it. But as far as I'm concerned, they can keep it out there. distance, but I come back over this side of the mountain over here, and I consider this not too bad.
Nah, it's all relative. I like driving around up here. That run over to the Albany, Troy area, and then up toward Cohoes and Colony, and then you connect up to the Northway and head up. It's not too bad up in Saratoga and Glens Falls. But like you say, it's all relative. People down there, to them, that's just normal. Doesn't do it for me. I sort of like driving around up here. And we just hired a new guy. Going to start Monday. Lives over almost into Syracuse. And he's going to come over here 3 days a week and spend a couple over in either Albany or home. Tough to find people. He's willing to do it, so made him an offer he couldn't refuse. WA1AES.
K1KTT. They got a good driver here at work down here. That's all I got to tell them. They used to have somebody, a retired guy come in, and they used to have the stuff ready for him. They used to hop in a vehicle, go, and then call when they're needed and this and that. I said, I need a 40-hour minimum job. Overtime is acceptable within a certain point in there. And I got I get full time, so I get I get benefit package and a decent wage in that. And I says, and I'll give you an honest run in there. So they were talking over. I told them, shipping and receiving experience I had, they almost want to hire me on the spot down there. Well, I started a little low on the wage, I thought, but I mean, as long as you get a steady increase every year, I mean that's a good start in the benefit package. I save probably $50 a week in fuel alone. I got a 5-minute to commute there, Ernie. Back to you.
Oh, yeah. I was doing 750 miles a week just to get back and forth to the office and then doing business travel. Of course, that they paid for, but the commute was mine. So that was 80 to 160 a week when the crazy fuel was $4 a gallon. So I got 4.5 miles now. That works for me. All right, I found where I got to go. You have a good one. Enjoy the afternoon, and get that all of that laundry done so you can just play with the radio. Sound good, by the way, with 500 milliwatts. WA1AES, clear on your final.
Yeah, Ernie, any phasing at all?
Yes, sir. Sounds great.
Well, I was getting a little phasing. I was out next to the telephone there before. I was getting a little bit. Could have been picking up a little buzzing or something there. I turned a little bit. I moved out here to the bedroom, and I mean, I got line of sight right to Greylock. I could just bend down here, and I could see it down here. But yeah, lowest power I can run, I'm on a 6 alkaline, 8 double A's, down to 6.3 volts. So it's almost time there for recharge. These Duracells are tough. They take a licking and keep on ticking, I guess. I got a charger here. I charge them up in there. But okay, we'll say 7-3. Thanks a lot there for the chat. I've been on here like an hour and a half. Most I've talked on here in probably years in there. But whenever I cross you, I was just giving Rich a couple of pointers here. I hope he to work him on the graveyard net there, 3967 between 6 and 8 a.m. and Monday through Sunday in there. Hope he gets his radio straightened out. I told him a simple indoor attic dipole, that SO239 connector, will work better than the random wire he's got, especially for 17 meters. I like that, man. I'll get things done, get a walk in, and rest up there. I got tomorrow up. I got appointment in Pittsfield. Take care, KA1K double T.
Okay, David, 73. Have a good day, WA1AES.
17. It
K1FFK.
was a very good year.